Hello, welcome to Fletch and Sav, the best bits today, live from White Hart Lane ahead of Spurs versus Manchester City. Big game, big talking points, big guests, and an even bigger rider in the Winnebago. Enjoy the show.
You know what defines world class? Because at times, I'll be honest with you, I was world class. On individual games. Yes. I played against Essien and he didn't get a kick. I man-marked Gianfranco Zola.
So you just stopped people? You stopped people?
No. Whoa. Let me finish. So on that day, I would say I was world class because I man-marked Gianfranco Zola out of the game. So on that performance, I was world class. But that was one performance in 300. So I'm not world class, am I?
Just to follow someone round the pitch for 90
he
minutes.
was world class. So I mean, stopping him.
I'm joking.
On that day, I would have been
easier to stop than to create, though.
Yeah, but then okay. So would Nesta Cannavaro be world class?
Yes.
They stop.
Yeah, but they're great defenders
But
as well.
they
Consistently at a higher level.
That's what I mean. That's the word.
Right.
Consistently.
You know what? In the European nights as well, particularly here, we've still got it here, right? And Everton maybe, and Liverpool is still there. There's a lot of stadiums. City used to be. It used to be the stadium used to frighten the life out of teams. You know that. The stadium wasn't like that.
That new stadium. Saint-Etienne,
yeah. You know, that was a part of the English teams being successful in Europe. I don't think the crowd are buying into this at the moment. When you're at home, that can make a massive difference.
Anfield on a European night.
I'll never forget that night here against Inter Milan.
Yeah.
I've never heard noise like it for a European night. I was up there on the gantry and the thing was moving.
Yeah.
Can we right off the top just have a moment of reflective silence for Lord Sugar, who once again has seen his team be thrown out of the only competition they could possibly win. It's a sad day for Spurs fans, and I want to take this moment just to say so.
I sold Dixie to Liverpool. Graham Souness didn't even... He said to me, "You're struggling, bottom of the league." I said, "Yeah, we're probably going to have to sell our best player." He said, "Who's that?" I said, "Julian Dix." "Who's he?" I said, "The left back." He said, "Not the little fat geezer." I went, "No." I said, "I'll tell you what, Graham." I said, "You'd love him." I said, "He boot lumps out of you in training. He'd be like, I'll have some of that." He come and watched him the weekend at Coventry when his elbow the fella in the face. After the game, he rang me up still. He went, "I loved him." He said, "How about when he He went, "I buy him." He bought him.
Should he be reffing this weekend?
We talked last week. He'll be disappointed that he didn't handle that situation better. And we talked on the very first week of Fletch and Sav. We said if you make a small mistake, then you'll get back out there and do a game the following week.
Maybe about five.
He'll be disappointed with the way he handled that, and I think that probably there'll be an expectation that he wouldn't appear this week. But having said that, he's one of the best referees in the country. Yeah. He proves that most weeks. He really does. He's somebody I've got a lot of time and respect for. That's why he gets the big games. Yeah. And he didn't cover himself in glory last week. But is that enough to drop him after one?
The problem that exists is that the whole essence of the sport, the competitiveness, the training of young players and bringing them up, and the competitive edge has been taken away by simply going out and buying the best talent, right? And if you could stop that, then you'd get back to a game which is where it started. You know, people from the local community learning their trade, playing, and competing against each other. But when you got a checkbook and you just go out and pluck the best player from Argentina or the best player from Italy or the best player from Spain and put them together, damn the cost and the expense, then it's kind of demoralising, really. Demoralising for teams like Bournemouth, for example. Fantastic example of how they brought themselves up from where they came from. But I think in the back of their mind they must know that they've got as much chance as winning the Premier League
as
against
Spurs.
As Spurs. Like got as much chance of winning the Premier League as you as of winning Strictly.
Can I just say, I wasn't referring to myself as world class, by the way. Well, let's get one thing straight. I knew my limitations. Let me just pull that up.
We've got to stop. Because we're going to carry on this on in a minute with Harry and Glenn. You've been fantastic.
Was Glenn on the world class?
For me, yes.
Keep tweeting them in at Fletch and Sav, and Robbie's going to go through it. The one thing we all agree on is that our outfits today are world class.
Back to the book. The catchphrase, obviously, everybody says about "you're fired." How did you come up with that? Because everybody knows now when they watch The Apprentice, it's a great TV show. You're fired. If you mention them words, and everybody recognises the apprentice.
You actually said that a lot when you were here as the chairman as well to managers, didn't you?
Actually, yeah. It's not. It's what's called part of the format. You know, the format is owned by an English guy, Mark Burnett. He thought up the apprentice format. It started in America, and the "you're fired" bit at the end is actually part of what I have to do. It's not. So I can't take the credit for thinking it up really, because I would have come up with something a bit more flowery.
Yeah. A little bit more. Yeah.
Like off or something.
Yeah. It's interesting. Cantona's an interesting one for me because I saw him from the other side. The fence. He's right. Manchester United, he was fantastic, and at Leeds. But I saw him in France. He played for 5 clubs out on loan. I was playing for Monaco at the time. He couldn't get in any team. He found it really hard to be man marked. And then he comes to England and he plays in between the lines and gets all the freedom and was magnificent. But I have seen the other side. So it's very opinionated. It's what you've seen yourself.
Do you accept, on behalf of your club, that you are utterly useless?
He's out of order, Lord Sugar.
Are you talking about am I utterly useless or the club's utterly useless?
Well, I think both go hand in hand.
That's all for Fletch and Sav this week. Hope you enjoyed it.
Keep tweeting at Fletch and Sav in the week, and we'll see you next Saturday, 10 a.m. for Crystal Palace versus West Brom with special guest Steve Parry.
And we won't be wearing the same clothes, promise.